to take this logo, which kind of looks like a Adobe-esque like logo, like After Effects or Illustrator, and we turn that into a 3D logo. Okay, so first we start off in Illustrator and just make a logo like this, which is has the letters cut out of it, and it's just basically a square. So then, once we save that, it should look like that, or something along those lines. And then we go to Blender. Now this Blender may look a little different than the one that I used in the last tutorial, but all I did was go to Themes, and changed it from default to rounded. I found it looks a little better. Now, I go to File, Import, and then Paths. This will take you to a sub-menu, and you just click Inkscape SVG, or whatever format you saved it to. I happen to save this one as an SVG. So you click on it, click Import, and it'll give you options. Just go with the options that it already has. Okay, so now you'll see that we have that. Okay, and you'll see that it's just a 2D version of what we had before, so it's exactly the same. So now what we do is extrude it by going to this editing submenu and clicking extrude, maybe to about 20. We want it about as long as it is wide. Set it to 25 maybe. That's about right. Okay, so now that we have this, it's a 3D cube. We go to Add Mesh Cube, and we scale it down and kind of move it to inside our previous cube. It kind of has the effect of basically one of these logos. And just so that we can see it better for right now, we'll go to Color, Add New, and then make it kind of a dark gray. And maybe scale it down a little bit so that you can still see. Okay. So, as you see very quickly, we already have most of it done. So now what we do is click on our first imported vector path, go to the color menu, add new, and so what you want to do now is just look at the application that you want to kind of spoof almost. I happen to be doing After Effects, so I'll make it kind of a bluish gray. Okay, and then render and see what we have. So that looks pretty much like that, except we might want to lighten that and maybe add the light to be on the top of it. So what we then do is just go back to here and just make it a little lighter. And so then when we render it, it looks a lot like that. Okay, so now what we want to do is move the default light to above it, because you see that there's almost like a light to dark gradient here. And we can just do that in lighting here, and you'll see now it looks even more like that. So what you might want to do now is go to Add Mesh Plane, just scale it up a bit to about there, and move it so that it's just a little after the cube. So then when we render it, it looks like that. What we might want to do now is add new, make it white, ray mirror, and shadeless, so that the shadow from this doesn't go on it. It should reflect the cube a little bit. or not. So then what we want to do, click on the vector layer, click space, object, convert object type, convert to mesh, and then click on the middle cube, and then join objects, join selected meshes. So now, in the center of these, you will see that it's one cube, and that makes it a lot easier. So then, what you want to do is go to Material, and even out that so that it's just straight on for the logo. I'm going to click the record button, add and replace, click on this, just do anything, and I'll create a keyframe, and so then go to about, we don't want it rotating too fast, so go to about 20 frames, rotate on the z-axis, or I guess rotate on the y-axis, and just we want to do probably 180, I guess. And so then every 20 keyframes we just rotate it another 180, or y 180. That way it's a continuous rotation. And if you really want to, just delete the middle keyframe, and then it'll be even more. Now that looks a little too fast, so what we might want to do is just make it 60, just click on anything, and delete the keyframe in front of it. That way it'll still move to the same place, but it'll take longer. And so it's basically a 360 degrees turn every 60 frames. And now you'll see that we have continuous rotating. And you probably want to go to render 150, and you are pretty much good to go. And because it starts on that and ends on that, which is the same position, you can just loop it. And so that is how you get a really professional looking cube. Now what you want to do is choose where you want to export it to and basically animate it. So this technique can be used for a lot of things, for stuff like this, and can be used for a lot of stuff like this, or even like this. Okay, so now that you have that done, the tutorial is over. And I just want to give a shout out to Simple Tutorials for helping me start out, and congratulate him on almost 3 years.